Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned.
Tune the madness down the rage. The world's a jungle stage by stage. Shock Monkey Radio. Feel the static, let it go. Shock Monkey Radio. Twist it down and lose control.
It was 2003, maybe 2004. It was October 31st. I remember that for sure. And I was driving home from my soulless defense contracting job near D.C. and doing what I normally did, which was, fresh off a full day of swallowing my pride and running back home with my tail between my legs to pound as many beers as I could within 3 hours so I can get to sleep and do it all over again. And so I was driving and started hitting traffic. I slowed down. I was like, oh boy, now I got traffic on top of this. And just sitting there, I was listening to a book on tape, on CD at the time, and just sitting there listening to the book. Car comes up behind me, a van. And I look up in the rearview mirror, and there's a clown behind the wheel with this. But he's got the clown makeup on. And he comes to a stop, and he's like, oh man, traffic, kind of, but in a clowny way. And when I saw him, I kind of jerked like this in the rearview mirror, and like, shook my eyes, like, because that's kind of how I see everyone else on the road. Because if you've ever been driving on these roads, sometimes the things that you people do on these roads, when I pass you, I look and I don't know, my mind puts this clown filter over you. And I'm just like, and it's the only way I can keep from trying to like pulling you out of the car and like committing a crime. You know what I mean? The way some of you people drive. And so I thought maybe it was all in my head. And then I shake my eyes. I look back in the rearview mirror and the clown's in my rearview mirror, and I just started laughing uncontrollably. It's okay, it's real. It's October 31st. It's Halloween. People are going to work dressed up, and he's caught in traffic like me. And some people find clowns to be scary, and maybe that's what he thought when I first reacted to him. It's not that I'm scared of clowns. It's that I actually like clowns. And some people find that off-putting about me. Because it's so weird how many people are scared of clowns. And so, and you understand that horses exist. Anyway, and so this clown, just dressed up in his normal day, and all he did, he was like, I'm going to be a clown at work. I'm going to creep some people out, maybe, is what he was thinking. But at the end of the day, I'm laughing my head off in traffic, venting the pains of a long, long, soulless day. And people are like, I'm scared of clowns. You kidding me? That clown probably saved my life that day. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron. Or you can send me money on Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. And you can follow me on social media over here. Okay. Have you ever fiddled with your web browser settings when you're drunk? Because I don't know. I had some, knocking some back one night, and I was like, because I have these multifocal lenses, I kind of need to different settings for the laptop than I do for the big desktop. And so I started fiddling with the settings on the desktop. Now I can't get them back, and I feel like maybe it's a state dependent learning. I need to get exactly that drunk again. I think it's around 9 beers, and then start fiddling with it again, because every time I pull up a web page, every single new tab in my web browser, it's at 150%, and it's it's on YouTube. You get a quarter of the video. I was like, how do I undo this? God, I'm stupid sometimes. I'm most times. Anyway, so here's something weird. I stepped out of my back door to have a smoke this morning. I slept in a little late, and so as soon I stepped out, and as soon as there's a railing in the back of my backyard holding up an embankment, and there's a squirrel just sitting on top going, just checking me out, I'm like, what's up, buddy? He's like, and I said, you're cool. But I puff, and you see smoke, and he's like, and just dive down to the ground and ran to the closest tree. Then I heard a scurrying over here to my left. It's like, there's another squirrel right by my house. It's like, hey, what are you doing? Trying to sneak in? Freeloading bastards. They usually like tear off the screen. I bet all of their nests have like wiring from our sliding screen door on our porch. Anyway, they're Newsomes. You know, they're Newsomes? They're Gavin Newsomes. They're nuisances. Holy cow. But they're still cute. I mean, they're rats. They're suburban rats, but they're still kind of cute. And then I saw like 2 more running by. Then 3 more running by. I guess they dropped a litter sometime recently, and it's just been cold, and now they're all out and about. Seriously, there's like 10 squirrels in my backyard this morning. I'm having a cigarette. While I'm having 1 cigarette, that's counted 10. At least 10. They're moving around. They're all panicked because they're like, a human. Yeah, human. They're making the little noises because I'm sure some of them remember when I just would pelt them with BB guns because they were taking like wiring from the screen door. You know, they're ripping apart our property. Anyway, but now there's 10 of them. There's a squirrel army in my backyard, and I don't know what to do about it. Maybe if I got a horse. Do you think horses will naturally, like, kill squirrels? Anyway, if you have any ideas, let me know. Squirrel army. I remember I put out the cigarette, right? I flicked the cherry and rolled up. I rolled up. And as soon as I'm about to close the door, I said, oh, please don't take over the world, because I thought about that Rick and Morty episode where you could hear it. It's all right. It was good timing, though. The wubba lubba dub dub in the background. All right. I need to wet my whistle for this next topic. I also need a classy picture to go with this topic because it's it's a topic that needs a little bit of class on it. So can you pull up that picture of that sketch of look at that, a little sketch, probably done by AI, but a little sketch of one of everybody's favorite scenes from everybody's favorite movie, I guess. Jack and Rose, a nice little sketch of that cute little couple when they were young. So here's a question I want to pose to you. Is a woman more or less attractive after you've seen her tits? I'm sorry, some of you may not like that word. Is a woman more or less attractive after you've seen her breasts? And I was thinking about this because I saw a video where somebody's talking about like all these actors and actresses that got famous after they got naked on screen on a film or something. And Kate Winslet obviously is one of those people we can talk about. And when it comes to Kate Winslet, in Titanic era, absolutely. I mean, she's older. She's still attractive. I guess, yeah, anytime, anywhere, Kate. And I think it's not, I think a big part of that has to do with having seen the goods. And so I was thinking back to when I was like, when you're like 17 to 20, like 25 or something like that, you see a lot. All right. And because, women, they want to show you, if they're attracted to, I should say, if they're attracted to you, you see them pretty quickly. It's like I met a girl that day, then we met up again the next day, and we're doing it all. And, seriously, and I didn't dislike her or disrespect her. In fact, I liked her more because she, in the words of Dave Matthews, laid down and gave to me just what I was seeking. And the unsubtle Cat Stevens of my generation. And so, but when it comes to, like, it's never been like I've seen their chesticles and I'm like, that's a deal breaker. Because, I mean, even if you're one of those girls that has, like, hair on your bazongas, that's a better one, bazongas. I'm going to keep thinking of other euphemisms. You've seen, because sometimes you can get hairy knockers. That's going to be a challenging part. And so, obviously, if you're that kind of woman, hopefully you shave or get electrolysis or something like that. I mean, you understand that that's not, guys aren't keen to that. And so I guess it comes to the question of, it depends upon the tatas. All right? The particular set of tatas we're talking about. And so when it comes to, like, if you meet a girl and she has that set of tatas that is, one of those sad sad, mournful type of tatas, you probably want to keep them pent up until you rope in the right man and make sure, you get, if you like it, you better put a ring. Well, how's it go? If you want it, you should should put a ring on it. Thank you. It's a tongue twister. My brain is farting all over the place for like the last 3 days. I'm stupid. It's so, if you have like, sad, mournful tits, I should have thought of a different one. Anyway, if they're sad, you should make sure you rope in the right guy. Now, I started thinking about this, of all things, when I saw a little clip from the Venture Brothers, where it has Brock Sampson talking to Hunter, and they're coming back, they're flying a jet, a G.I. Joe-like jet. They're coming back from a strip club, and they have this conversation. Did you see I got cornered by Robin last night? I had to chew my arm off to get away from her. And Hunter's like, yeah, that woman has sad tits. And Brock's like, mournful. They're mournful tits. And Hunter's like, they're like 2 suicide notes stuffed into a glitter bra. And it's just back and forth, this like insulting this woman's breast. And is it mean? Yeah. Do guys have those conversations? Yeah. And here's the thing: if you got those kind of mournful breasts, I'm running out of synonyms. If you have those kind of fun bags, you should know you probably shouldn't be a stripper. And you should probably find a good man to lock down. In fact, all those parts are for your husband. You should probably find one and find a guy you want to make a husband. Make him your husband. Get him to be your husband, I guess. You don't make him. It's like, you don't keep him locked up in a dungeon. It's like, you're going to marry me. You're never getting out of here. Don't do that. But you get a guy to, propose to you, wants to marry you, and then you show the goods. And hopefully, and the whole idea behind that is that you fall in love with the woman, not the tits. The only reason I want to bang Kate Winslet is because I've seen her tits. I know I never will, but, and so what's the point of putting it on film? What's the point of flashing your hoo-has in the club or in the bar? Which I've seen a lot of, and it frustrates me because you're attractive women and I want you to respect your body, even more than I respect it. And it's funny because people are like, that's why I don't get girls, because I'm not jumping every time a girl flashes. I'm not jumping after it. I don't lead dick first, schlong first. Sorry. See, I'm brain farting so much that synonyms are driving me nuts. Anyway. Let's go on this next topic. And you're like, hey, Madman, what's up with the concert going on in the background? Can we go to that show instead of yours? I'm like, no, you can't. That's static, first of all. And it's AI generated. And if you've seen those AI generated songs I got and put together on my channel, you understand that I could spend my entire lifetime trying to make one of those songs and fail, not even doing that well. And it's kind of shocking to me in many ways because as somebody who is half part musician, quarter Polish, quarter Winnebago, half musician, and it's kind of discouraging when you think about it. It's like I could sit there and practice just to perform one part of the song on ukulele, which is, and drums. I mean, drums are pretty easy. I can do that anywhere. But hours and hours of practice to even get anywhere close to how good some of this music is that is generated by AI. And I'm sure musicians everywhere are just very discouraged. After all, I thought about this very question. Why even go to a concert anymore? Why even, if you're a band, why even tour? You could just stream it. Even if you want to fight against the face of the power of AI, you could just stream it. You could record a show and then the band could all the members could go to different internet watch parties on a slow tour throughout the United States. Where it's just, they play the thing and you're there and you can meet and greet people, have drinks and stuff like that. Seems a lot, makes a little bit more sense, but concerts still happen. Why? Why? Why do sporting events happen? You could just sit at home and watch it on TV. Some people can argue. Spend a lot less than when it comes to like the. You had those lights. That's great, man. After all, you could just sit at home, comfort of your own home. You don't have to fight the crowds. You don't have to like fight the guy next to you who's a Patriots fan or whatever. You don't have to pay that much for beer. You have to wait in line for the bathroom. Why not? Why would you do that if you don't have to? And it's funny because humans, they have a desire. They have a desire to get together like this. It's innate in all of us. And it's something I had that in me. And I'm one of the most antisocial people I know. I wanted to go to concerts. And granted, those concerts were like, Patron, DC Talk, and Dave Matthews Band. But, demented and sad, but social, to quote Bender. And so we have this desire to press the flesh with each other, AI doesn't understand that, And I think if you're a musician, you need to harness that element, that what is human about us. It's like, yeah, we all can't compose like Bach level music, but there's something human about us that's not an AI, that AI can't hold. And so I'm like, don't give up, when it comes to being a musician. Was I talking to you about this the other day about how like Queen would have like a measure where it's just 2/4 in a different key just shoved into the rest of the song, and it's just to create a little gap, a little like hiccup in the song, That's something that AI would never render, just all of a sudden shoving in a single measure of a different key for 2 beats at a different time signature. 2 beats in that time signature. You understand what I'm getting at? That's something AI would never compose. And so we need to start looking at music that way, the human element of music.
Bring back the bridge.
Bring back the bridge?
Yeah, the bridge of the song.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, even AI can do a bridge, especially if you ask for one, and like you compare it, say, I want the bridge to sound like the bridge in such and such a song, like, I don't know, November Rain or something. Is there a bridge in that song? There is a bridge in that song. You need some time. Yeah. Anyway. So, don't give up, idiots. I mean, idiots. Don't give up, idiot musicians. Damn it. Don't give up, musicians. I'm an idiot. Sorry. And so, when it comes to the anti-AI music revolution, I think back to the Queen albums before 1980. In 1980, Queen started using synthesizers for the first time. But every Queen album up until that point had no synthesizers in the liner notes. You pull that up if you like. It was hard to find a really good picture of it. Because I found, thank you, he was zoomed in. This is from A Night at the Opera, if you don't know. I could tell just from the color scheme. Look at the humor. Vocals, Bechstein debauchery, and more vocals. This is why I love those liner notes. It's because, every now and then you get something great. There's one where it says, like, Freddie Mercury is, like, vocals, tantrums, and the guy had a sense of humor about himself. But you see, it says no synthesizers. With the S, it's the British way to spell synthesizers. And so, and back then there was an idea that synthesizers were ruining music, in the late 70s. It's like, even though you got to listen to like Sly and the Family Stone, and you're just like, no, synthesizers can work. All right. And so, but there was a kind of purism to some people where they're like synthesizers, and it wasn't so much that the sounds that synthesizers could make, it was the fact that a synthesizer, even back then in the 70s, could make a beat, a rhythm, add, you start tracking like a, bass line, even some like pianos, synthesized pianos. You can get most of a song based on a synthesizer. And so I guarantee you, Roger May was like, I'm not going to use a bloody synthesizer. I'm going to go fix my car. Go play with your car. But the point is, I think I'm in love with my car was on this album. That's why it's on my mind. And so I think even back then people understood is like adding computers to music, it could lead to a very bad place. And I think even Freddie Mercury and Brian May and Roger Taylor and John Deacon all understood that. And that's why they all signed off on the no synthesizers movement. But don't give up. There's something human about us that AI can't capture. And we need to harness that if we want human music to survive. Because we're all desired to press the flesh. All right. Moving right along, we're gonna do a couple of a couple quick movie reviews. EK was pulling up the notes for this and yelled at me. And this is the night before movie review. It's a stunted movie review. It's a 2015 movie. And EK said to me, "You're not allowed to review a movie you have not watched." And because I said. When he pulled up the notes, he was like, "Oh, you saw The Night Before?" And I was like, about 20 minutes of it. He's like, "You can't review, you should have hung in there. You can't review a movie you didn't watch." And I was like, okay, whatever. And if you guys agree and you say you got to watch the whole thing before you can review it, we could strike this one from the record and I'll do another one. All right, just let me know in the comments. Don't do it in the live chat because I probably will never see that. But do it in the comments and fine, I'll revisit it and I'll suffer through it. What was the other one I couldn't watch? I watched about 15 minutes of it and I'm like, I can't handle it. It's Barbie, the Barbie movie. And if you want me to review that, you can get bent. Excuse me. So night before, 2015 movie. So it's about a bunch of the most selfish people I've ever seen on screen ever. And I didn't like any of the characters. I understand Christmas is a hectic time. And I understand there's no time to get together with the boys. There's a lot of sobriety going on and you don't like that. I get it. But The Night Before Christmas is about Christmas. All right. And you should be focused on that. Instead, you're these selfish drug addicts. It's the only way I can describe them. And the whole idea is like we need to have like a blast before, Christmas and like a bunch of crazy adventures. I get the premise and the plot immediately, and I instantly do not like these characters. Because, Seth Rogen, just like his Star of David sweater, we get it, you're Jewish. We get it. We've seen your comedies. Try something new.
She goes to church. She goes to a Catholic church in the middle of the movie.
You see, EK's fuming. I don't know if you heard that, but he's fuming. So I think the consensus so far is one vote for you need to watch the whole movie before you get The Night Before out your mouth.
He
Don't slap me, dude.
He takes a bunch of drugs and ends up, obviously, accidentally, in a Catholic church in the middle of Mass.
Seth Rogen?
Yes.
Okay.
And he is out of his mind looking up and he sees Jesus on the cross. Is that what people think we did to them? No wonder they hate us so much. It is such a great setup.
All right.
There are so many great, and it's the night before Christmas.
I get it. You should be with your family.
No, it is. It's the Scrooge story, bro.
Okay.
It's the night before Christmas. They're all going through it at the same time. They visit Christmas past, present, future. You didn't get the whole concept because you didn't watch the whole thing.
All right.
It's a redemption story. They're supposed to start out as scumbags.
Do you have the 1 star ready to go?
Yes.
Yeah, so these are the most selfish people I've ever seen on screen. And I turned it off the moment I realized, they're not acting. These are who they are. These people are who they are. They're being exactly who they are. All right. Let me know if we need to revisit it. Let me know in the comments. All right. Let's do one we'll probably agree on, okay, EK?
Fine.
Let's do a movie review of Hardcore Henry, another 2015 movie. Let's hang out in 2015. There's a bunch of stills I could have used to represent this film. But the movie poster one, he's like, it's a first person shot, but he's like falling from the sky with 2 guns in his hands. Like, this is the dumbest promotional poster I've ever seen for a movie, especially considering what it is. However, all the other stills is like terrible, terrible kills that are happening. I was like, that could be off-putting when you're talking about a movie. Instead, I chose this one where you see, I think this is the director and this is the cameraman. I don't know if you got director of photography or something, but if the camera's literally strapped to you, I think you should get director of photography. And you see here, him here unsafely pointing any firearm at a person. I don't think, you should do that. Anyway. It's like, it's a prop gun. Yeah. But remember Alec Baldwin? So, this is the whole gimmick. You see the camera's right there in his in the Darth Vader part of his mask. Mouth part of his Darth Vader mask. That's where the camera is. You see, there's probably looks like two lenses there. And you got the microphone there on the head. So it looks like you're fighting a weird, I don't know, star-bellied sneetch. Like bionic star-bellied sneetch or something. I don't know. And so, or what were they called? Snorks. Bionic snorks. Oh, damn. I don't know what to call this show today. It's like bionic snorks or no synthesizers. I'll make that decision later. Anyway, so it's basically the Doom movie we all wanted, but it's I guess more Duke Nukem. But it's that kind of movie. Is like, because even when we watch the Doom movie, it's like, there's not enough FPS in this, and we all love FPSs, And so they did an entire movie based upon a first-person shooter game, and it's hot, intense action. There's a bunch of people standing around, and then all of a sudden you hit X on them, and they're like, oh, you have to go on this mission and stuff like. Except it's way better acted than that. And so I thought it was a really original way to present a movie. But when I got here and talked to EK about it, he was like, "Oh yeah, do you see that Biting Elbows music video? Bad M something." Bad Mother Father. And I was like, no. And so he shows me the music video for this Biting Elbows thing. And I was like, oh my God, that is the movie. So I just knocked some stars off for that. A couple stars. Not as original as I thought it was. And especially when you talk about the plot of the script, it's not exactly original either. And so it's good enough for the movie that it's involved in. It lays the groundwork for an action-packed movie. And if you think about like how a movie like this is shot, it must have been a blast to be on that set, because it had to have been like superiorly choreographed, because you're talking about like a moving camera that moves faster than any like gimbal or anything like that, any kind of dolly or anything. It's literally on a person. And so, you got some guys running over here shooting at you. He's going over here. Where are they moving now? You got to choreograph this stuff so it looks realistic, and it does. And it's a fantastic action movie. However, like I said, the plot is a little unoriginal. The presentation is apparently unoriginal, but it's the first time I've seen it. So, additionally, Sharlto Copley, he's not pictured here. He's the District 9 guy. He's the Howling Mad Murdoch from the A-Team guy, the movie. He plays many parts in this movie. And he really got to show off his like acting and costume chops. I mean, he's a really good actor, and like every single like let's say character he plays is like unique and interesting and different. And he was able to like show his acting chops. So I mean, it's not like he appeared out of nowhere. It's funny. It's like everyone's like, what was it? Maybe District 9 is where everyone first like noticed him, and you find out like this guy's he's probably been doing theater, for the last 15 years. I'm going to try film, and boom, some people really take the craft seriously. Anyway, 10 of 13 stars. I think Sharlto Copley really made the movie. I'm glad he was there, because when you're talking about a movie that's shot like this, it's hard to get like the main character to get a nomination for Best Actor, because after all, the main character apparently is a cameraman. He could be an actor. I don't know. There's a lot of crossover in the business, but good action movie, and it's the Doom / Duke Nukem story we always wanted. All right, let's get into the news worth knowing. Scott Adams passed away, huh? I never really liked Dilbert. Some people liked it. I guess I just never, I didn't spend too long in that world, that cubicle world. And so I guess I didn't really get it that much. And so, but in the recent years, I know he he converted to Christianity, and good for him. And I hope to give him drawing tips in heaven sometime. And he'd be like, what have you ever drawn? I was like, I drew the monkey. He's like, yeah, but you used AI for everything else. I was like, all right. Fair play, Scott Adams, fair play. All right, let's go to important news stories. Not that Scott Adams' death isn't important, or the fact that he's with Jesus now. Good for him. All right, U.S. sees a net negative migration for the first time in decades amid Trump administration enforcement, economist says. Brookings Institution report estimates net migration between 10,000 and, between minus 10,000. I gotta stop this. They snuck an ad in on us. Anyway, net migration is between negative 10,000 and negative 295,000 in 2025. That's a big window, you know what I'm saying? But it's still negative. It's all negative. Negative migration. More immigrants left the United States than those who had entered the country in 2025, an occurrence that happened for the first time in at least half a century, according to the new report from economists. The report published this week by the Brookings Institution said that there was a significant drop-off in entries to the United States in 2025 and relative to 2024, and an increase of enforcement activity, leading to removals and voluntary departures. Wow, it's almost like a mathematical equation. You do something on one side, like enforce the law, boom, the numbers start going down. Wow. Math is fun. Report published, blah, blah, blah. Okay. We estimate the net migration between negative 10,000 and negative 295,000 in 2025, the first time in at least half a century it has been negative. In our assessment, net migration is likely to be very low or negative in 2026 as well. Reduced migration will dampen growth in the labor force, consumer spending, and gross domestic product. We estimate a sustainable pace of monthly job growth to be between 20,000 and 50,000 in late 2025, and believe it could be negative in 2026. The job growth will be negative in 2026. I don't think that's true. I think there's a lot of people, like, for example, if you think that all these illegal immigrants are taking all the jobs, if they are, then those jobs are going to need to be filled, and they'll probably be filled by U.S. citizens. And that means maybe more people working, maybe more people getting off of SNAP, EBT, welfare, and stuff like that, because we should probably end that stuff as well. The report also said though deportations and other exits receive more media attention, a slowdown in new arrivals, especially via humanitarian parole and refugee programs, and across the southwest border, has a bigger effect on reducing migration flows in 2025. The first year of the second Trump administration has seen dramatic changes in immigration policy, resulting in a sharp slowdown in net migration to the United States, according to the Brookings Institution. Expect the pattern of restricted policy and increased enforcement to continue to intensify over the coming year. This article is mostly about numbers. And so, we voted for this. We voted, for Trump to do this. And when I think about all those people like protesting ICE in Minneapolis, and you know what happened 6 years ago in Minneapolis? The BLM riots. It was kind of that was kind of like the heart of where it all happened. It's suspicious that, Minneapolis and Minnesota keep coming up. There's a big trail of fraud leading straight to Minneapolis. Big trail of fraud. And so when I think about these anti-ICE people, first of all, you're mostly illegals. And if you're not illegals, you're these Trump derangement syndrome leftists, who think that, finally enforcing the law. This is the point. 50 years, net negative migration. 50 years. That's how long, that's almost 2 generations. 2 generations of people who have not seen law and order enacted in these streets. And the way that, even with even American citizens who are criminals, if law enforcement actually went after them, people would be surprised. Like, holy cow, they actually came for the drug dealer. Holy cow, they actually arrested him. And it's like, why are you so surprised? You know, it's like I said, justice, I miss that motherfucker. And if you're worried about, like, oh, the prices are so high and, everything costs so much in the grocery store. And it's because people for like 50 years or more have been coming into this country illegally. And we're just like, here's a bunch of free shit. Go wild. You know what happens to an economy when you do something stupid like that? And that's why there's this big trail of fraud leading straight to Minneapolis and St. Paul. They're the twin cities, after all. What I think is funny about those two cities is like they had this argument at one point where like, no, we're St. Paul. You motherfuckers on the other side of the river, you're Minneapolis. And it could be a great American place again, and it should be. But no, you're all too stupid. And just anything that Trump does or anything that conservatives do is evil to your mind, and that's the only thing you really understand. Anyway, let's go on to the next story about another POS floating around Minnesota. Minneapolis Mayor Frey refuses to walk back to get the fuck out message to ICE, he said. I don't know if you remember this in the news. But Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey is refusing to retract his calls for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to get the fuck out of the city, as violent protests continue for a second week. The backlash comes as the shooting death of Renee Nicole Good draws national attention to Minnesota. I stand by exactly what I said, Frey said in a Wednesday on Fox and Friends. His comments came as federal agents continue immigration operations across Minneapolis, while protests have led repeated confrontations between demonstrators and federal authorities. Frey has faced criticism from Republican leaders for his rhetoric in the hours after Good's death last week. Speaking to the press conference following the shooting, Frey said that he believed the government is trying to spin this action as an action of self-defense, which it was. When the conclusion is drawn by the government that's actually doing the investigation itself, it's harder to trust the investigation, Frey told Fox News' Griff Jenkins. We need to make sure the American people can earn and gain that trust. And yes, I think there are deep concerns in having exclusivity with the FBI and not our Bureau of Criminal Apprehension at the state level conducting the investigation itself. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so here's the point about Mayor Frey, what's his name, Jacob Frey, about him and even Tim Walz and these people who are saying get ICE, get the F out. They're saying we're like at war with the federal government. I'm surprised you people are not arrested already. The last time people talked like this was, I don't know, the late 1850s, 1860s. They started talking like that. And then the Republican got elected. His name was Abraham Lincoln. He got elected. And then a bunch of Democrats in the southern states, they said, we don't want to be a part of this because that Republican over there is going to try to end slavery, and we want to keep slavery. So we're seceding from the Union. We want out of the United States. All right? And then this Abraham Lincoln guy, he sent a letter to a bunch of the northern states who wanted to have free, even though they still had racist ideologies and so forth. But they stood in principle, slavery is wrong, and it is. And so he asked each state to send me a couple of divisions of soldiers so we can go invade the southern states. All right, but we don't live in the 1860s anymore. We have federal agencies dotting every single one of our states. You have FBI, you have ICE, you have people especially if you're a border, you have ICE and stuff like that. And if you wanted to secede from the Union, we could have that conversation. But first, you got to pay us the billions of dollars that you stole from the United States taxpayers. Then we can have that conversation. In the meantime, you are part of the United States of America. And if there's one thing the Civil War taught us, is that trying to fight the federal government is not something that should be tolerated. You want to talk about secession, you want to talk about the things that Abraham Lincoln may have done wrong, we can have that conversation. And if you want to secede from the Union, fine. Maybe Canada will absorb you because you're all socialist dickheads. And then all of a sudden, all those Somali immigrants, they're bleeding Canada dry instead. Fine with me. Fine with me. That's just, I don't want to make a whole all new flags. We'll take Puerto Rico. We'll make Puerto Rico a state and replace you. That way we don't have to change the flags. Friggin' idiot socialists. Just anything that Republicans do, they're like, oh my God, they're actually enforcing the law. That's like when you watch these body cam videos and people are like, you can't touch me, you can't touch me. It's like, where do you get that idea? Where a cop can't touch you? Anyway. Yeah, I want to briefly go over this next story. What's going on in Iran. Because could have worldwide consequences. Iran regime opened fire with live ammunition on protesters. Doctor says shoot to kill is the order. Iranian security forces escalated from pellet guns. They were using pellet guns at first. Anyway, why not rock salt? Anyway, too rednecky, too American. Anyway, escalated from pellet guns to live ammunition during protests. I shouldn't make jokes. This is serious. Sharply increasing casualties. A doctor who treated the wounded demonstrators told the Center for Human Rights in Iran. Speaking after fleeing the country, a doctor told CHRI the use of live fire increased the death toll days after the protests erupted on December 28. Law enforcement forces are firing pellet guns. We're firing pellet guns to scatter pellets. Oh, okay. So like shot. During those days, I received 5 or 6 calls a day about people who have been hit by 2 pellets in the back or pellets in the head or the scalp. So they're aiming for the heads. Doctor said, or maybe the spread, anyway. The doctor said he noticed the situation shifted on January 8th when authorities imposed internet blackouts and cut off communication nationwide. From about 8:10 to 8:20 p.m., the sound of bullets, gunfire screams, and sporadic explosions could be heard. I was called to the hospital. When I arrived, I saw that the nature of the injuries and the number of gunshot wounds had changed completely. He said of the days around the blackout. The situation is totally different. Shots from close range, injuries leading to death. Human rights groups say thousands have been killed as security forces move to suppress the demonstrations, and yet some estimates are placing the death toll above 3,000. Fox News chief forward correspondent Trey Yinks reported on Tuesday. The protests were fueled over anger of economic hardship, rising prices, and inflation before expanding into broader anti-government demonstrations. Okay, so here's the thing: is like Iran may collapse. And what's awful is that these people want to. I was talking to EK earlier. It's like before the mullahs took over and it became a theocracy, an Islamic theocracy. It was kind of cool. It was like I said, it was like dudes with pompadours and listen to bomb ba da da ba dang 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 and driving around cherry red Chevy Malibus. It was like the 50s there. It was like its own American graffiti era for Iran, and the mullahs, the Islamic fundamentalists were like no, and so that changed the way Iran has been ever since the mullahs took over, and the people of Iran, they want to be free, and I want them to be free. Do I think the U.S. should get involved? I don't know if you could put a couple missiles on target without actually putting people on the ground. Put weapons in the hands of the protesters, maybe. I don't know. But these are all real risky when it comes to like a nation helping, a revolution in another country. The UN might have something to say about it. So, what do we do? I mean, it's not like the Iranian people have firearms, I don't think. What can you do when the government has all the weapons, when the government shuts down the internet? And you watch the Golden Globes, and there's not one peep about this. Not one fake tear of sympathy for the people of Iran who are suppressed in their Islamic theocracy, where women are treated as cattle, they're traded like property. Children are molested on a regular basis. Inbreeding is quite popular. And it's a mess. It's a real mess. And they want to live normal lives. They know about us. Even though they blacked out the internet, they've heard of the United States. They remember Grandpa talking about bomb, ba, ba, bomb, ba, dang, dang, dang. You know what I mean? They want to live in a world like that. But not one peep about this at the Golden Globes. One girl gets justifiably shot at blocking traffic and trying to run over a cop, and it y'all wearing pins at the Golden Globes saying, "Oh, we got a tyrant in this country." It's like, tyrants, hello, Iran, tyrant. Anyway, that's kind of bummed me out. Let's lighten it up the last 15 minutes. What do you say? We'll talk about Nikki Glaser. She's cute, but I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. You know how many tests you'd have to get afterwards? Anyway, so Golden Globes host says Trump jokes were scrapped. I like this article. It's interesting. Nikki Glaser tells Howard Stern that Trump ICE jokes were written but not used. Comedian Nikki Glaser says she deliberately avoided political jokes while hosting the 2026 Golden Globes, saying they simply weren't funny in the current climate. Respectfully disagree. We'll come back to that. On Tuesday's episode of Howard Stern radio show, Glaser said that Trump-related jokes had been written but were ultimately cut. It's not funny, Glaser said, and according to a Hollywood Reporter, citing her appearance on Stern's show. Okay. I was going to come in at some point and say, this is like a joke she was going to say. I'm hearing from the bar that we're out of ice, and we don't really need ice. And actually, I hate ice, she said. And that was a joke she scrapped. And I want to pause here in the article so I can we can retool this joke so I can make my point. All right. Political stuff is always just like the quote I was talking about with Conan last week, and I was able to get the quote and put it up on screen. Joking about that kind of stuff is the most powerful weapon in your arsenal, and you absolutely can make jokes about Trump or ICE and stuff like that. And usually with like self-deprecation and stuff like where the butt of the joke is you. And absolutely you can make jokes or seemingly at the expense. It's always like shifting stuff. So let's talk about an ICE joke. An ICE joke she should have said. Like she comes out on stage and said, "So I'm looking around, I see not a whole lot of you have any ice in your drinks. That's strange. I didn't know you guys were going that hardcore on the protesting thing." What's that? "Oh, it's champagne." "Oh, you're drinking champagne." "Oh, that's my mistake. Maybe I'm the one who's overly political minded." You can do that. Granted, I'm not a comedian and I'm not Nikki Glaser, and more people like looking at her than like looking at me, and I understand that. But if she said something like that, people would laugh, even though if you didn't laugh. I thought it was pretty damn funny myself. Anyway, but you can absolutely make jokes about Trump and stuff like that. And so there's another quote from her. "I felt like, even that's being too trivial." That's what I mean. You can retool it so it's better. Glaser said several jokes are aimed at President Donald Trump were also scrapped, including the one where his decision to add his name to the updated Trump Kennedy Center. The joke was written by comedian Steve Martin, but was ultimately cut, she said, after she didn't fit the event's tone. So you're not going to tell us the joke? Excuse me. Yeah. Well, let's tweet Steve Martin real quick. Slide into Steve Martin's DMs. Man, another killer show title. It was like, you just don't say the guy's name right now. The gun's name. You could say the guy's name. A benign Trump joke. Just want to give it space. She added, and you have that right to make that choice. But I mean, I guess I'm trying to think of a good Trump joke to throw out that's benign, but it might be hard. While Glaser stayed away from politics, many in the audience did not. The annual gala came from just days after the death of Renee Good, Minneapolis woman whose fatal shooting during ICE. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so Mark Ruffalo, he really went off on Trump. Said a lot of things. Through his lipstick-stained lips. I don't know if they're like he intentionally put lipstick on. The dude was wearing makeup. If you look at the clip. And he is incredible. Yeah. EK says, yes, he was angry. And but he's saying things like Trump is a pedophile and a rapist. And I'm not saying you should arrest Mark Ruffalo. I'm saying you should sue the shit out of him for slander, President Trump. And these Hollywood types, and it's funny because it wasn't everyone at the Golden Globes that had this axe to grind, It's just the usual cast of characters in many ways. But you can make jokes about the president. And it's like, I was thinking back to like that one time where George Bush did a televideo with Dana Carvey in the 90s, and Dana Carvey just mimicked him to George Bush. And it was okay to do that. It was okay to make fun and mock and imitate, your president. It still is, if you ask me. And the difference is that when you talk about the people who have imitated Trump, other than like in mainstream, you're talking about Alec Baldwin, and Alec Baldwin hates Trump, hates him. And you got to like the person a little bit to make fun of him. And if you think back at Trump before he started running for president, they're always making fun of his hair. You know, that was what it's all about, making in that you fired kind of thing. You know, it was okay. It was casual. It's like it was in everyone's lexicon. You fired. You know, making fun of Trump's hair. Now it's a whole new ball of wax, ain't it? Not one word from you guys about Iran. But one woman gets justifiably shot for interfering with law enforcement and traffic and trying to run over a cop, ICE officer. And you're all boo-hoo-hoos. I'm surprised Marco Ruffalo didn't run his mascara. All right, let's go to these two happier stories, and then we're out of here. Hundreds of mysterious old shoes wash up on a beach during cleanup, baffling officials. Volunteers discovered roughly 200 shoes during a restoration project at Ogmore Beach. Hundreds of old-fashioned shoes recently washed up on a beach in Wales, and locals are still trying to figure out why. Really? Volunteers working at the Beach Academy CIC, an educational center in Porthcawl. Porthcawl? The friggin' Welsh, man. It's like the Welsh were like, to the north of us, we got the Scottish, and I can't stand the way they talk. The south of us, we got the Irish, can't stand the way they talk. To the east of us, we got the Brits, can't stand the way they talk. We're going to make up our own stupid language, too. Anyway, no offense to any Welsh people out there. But Porthcawl, it sounds like port call. It's obviously like if it's picking up shoes out of the ocean, it's obviously on a port. But it's Porthcawl, C-A-W-L. It's just port call. Let's call it port call. All right, the shoes were found on December 18th during the efforts on a rock pool restoration project. Rock pools, those are great, huh? You seen rock pools? Yeah, or tidal pools, or tide pools. You don't want to say like tide pool. I like saying rock pools because if you say, "Hey, have you ever seen a tide pool?" Tadpole, yeah, absolutely. No, tide pool. Yeah, but it's funny because you look at them and you're just like, eons of the ocean has carved this beautiful lagoon-like spot out of it. And, you know, the water wouldn't move and cut into the rock if there wasn't the moon, you know? And the world wasn't spinning the way it is and wobbling the way it is. And you know what? There'd be no one to see how beautiful it is without human beings. Anyway, only human beings can see how beautiful it is and awe-inspiring it is. Anyway, rock pools are great. The team was trying to clear out litter to restore rock pools from their to their natural state. They found the cache. C-H-E, cache. Beach Academy founder Emma Lamport told Fox News Digital the shoes were found in a small area of Ogmore Beach, located in the Vale of Glamorgan, South Wales. Glamorgan, South Wales. It's about 200 miles south of the Shire. Okay, yeah, okay. About 200 shoes soles were recovered. I guess they separated, including men's, women's, and children's footwear. She outlined two theories of how they got there. Okay, let's see how she does. The strongest theory, she says, the shoes came from a 19th century shipwreck called the Frolic, which struck nearby Tusker Rock. The ship was carrying cargo from Italy at the time. They were washed up in the Ogmore River estuary, and every now and then they appear, especially when there's been erosion of a riverbank. Second theory is that back in the 1960s, a local factory produced over 50,000 pairs of boots and shoes each week. The cobblers would dump any old boots that they couldn't mend into the Ogmore River. Very Tigris of you, or Euphrates of you. Am I right? No. What's the river in India? Forget it. Anyway. The well-preserved leather shoes, blackened over time, they have been found recently, are not the first to have been found in the area. So they've been finding them, okay. Locals have been relating stories of finding strange shoes along the South Wales coast. Lamport also stressed that the age of shoes has not been professionally verified yet, leaving the origin a mystery. Or it could have been like a shipwreck went down and had a crate of shoes or something like that, and finally the crate eroded and then a bunch of shoes just started floating off. You know, even cleaning, like picking old shoes out of a rock, what are they called? Rock pool. got to be beautiful there, too. All right. Let's go to the last story, and I swear I have nothing to do with this. But stuff just seems to keep happening. I don't know if, like for example, the Squirrel Army, maybe the Squirrel Army knows where the monkeys are coming, or the Monkey Army is going to rendezvous. Because if anything, squirrels would be like an information network, right? They'd be like the Squirrel Net, So several monkeys still on the loose in St. Louis as officials call off the search for roaming animals. Animals were first spotted near the Northside Park on Thursday with ownership unknown. Several monkeys continue to be on the loose in St. Louis, Missouri, according to city officials, and now the city's Department of Health has called off its search for the roaming animals. The animals were first reported near a park on the city's north side on Thursday. Department of Health spokesperson Willie Springer told the Associated Press. The monkeys are believed to be vervet monkeys. Vervet monkeys, medium-sized primates and native to Africa. They have grayish-green fur, dark facial features, according to the African Wildlife Foundation. I bet if you ask any of the vervet monkeys, they would probably say the same, though. You go to the source, is what I'm saying. Anyway, you ask a vervet monkey, what do you look like? You say you meet them on the phone, what do you look like? Age, sex, location? Anyway. So, vervet monkeys that live near human populations are sometimes considered pests, as they may steal food, raid crops, and other items, often leading to lethal control measures, the foundation noted. Yeah, they'll steal, alcohol, too. They're thieves. Monkeys are thieves, and they're dangerous. I had a dream I had fighting two monkeys, and I was getting my ass kicked. One's ripping my glasses off my face. I'm trying to grab the other one and trying to throw them off my head. Anyway, I don't like that. For some reason, but it's better than a horse nightmare. Anyway. At this time, it's unclear exactly how many monkeys are on the loose and who owns them. Apparently, no one owns them right now. They own themselves right now. Springer said that the largest number of monkeys reported together so far is 4, suggesting that there is not a large group roaming the city. Yeah, they do stay together. They're primates, after all. Ownership claims are also unlikely, as residents are not legally permitted to own monkeys in St. Louis. Officials, including primate experts at the St. Louis Zoo, have been working to locate the animals. As residents are keeping an eye out for the monkeys, some AI-generated images and false reports have complicated efforts to track and capture the monkeys, officials said. Assholes. Been a lot in regard to the AI. Is not what's genuine and what's not. People are just having fun. I don't think anyone means harm, but they're trying to find the monkeys. The city's health department said in a Facebook post that residents with firsthand information or sightings should report them directly to the city of St. Louis Citizen Service Bureau. Whew, tongue twister. City officials have urged residents not to approach the monkeys and to contact authorities instead. Fox News Digital reached out to St. Louis Animal Control and the St. Louis Zoo for further comment. On Monday, the city shifted its efforts from investigation to enforcement of its wild animal ordinance, according to Justin Hauser, the health department's environmental health bureau chief, as Fox 2 reported. The city is aware of sightings and videos shared on social media. Hauser also said those posts cannot be verified and have not been used in the city's searches. Yeah, so because I guess so many AI pictures, somebody's taking a picture of downtown and they put a monkey in it, a vervet monkey in it. Because AI will do it if you ask it. AI won't say, is that ethical though, considering what's going on in your town right now? So, yeah. Lots of questions when it comes to AI. But here's the thing is I think the monkeys know where they need to come. Come to your leader. Come to shockmonkeyradio. I will be your leader. I will lead the monkey army and we will take down all the horses, my monkey pals. Come to me. Animal Control, I'll call you as soon as they get here. Because monkeys don't belong in this continent, first of all. Right, they don't belong as pets. They can be in a zoo, sure, but sometimes apparently they escape. All right? They don't belong in this continent. But you know what? They shouldn't be, free to wander, Because you'll be, cooking up you'll be cooking up some hot dogs and some burgers on your grill. You got a beer. Coming summer. I'm telling you, this is going to happen somewhere near St. Louis. You're going to be, flipping some burgers. You put your beer down on the little table there next to the pan. All of a sudden, a little monkey comes running up, grabs a couple of hot dogs, and your beer just runs off. You mark my words. Unless they get here before summer, then I'll call you. Animal Control. Now the monkeys aren't coming. Do they speak English? I don't think so. This is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again, I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I would very much appreciate that. Or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. Or you can follow me over here on social media at DNALETSAW. On Twitter, that's the word wasteland spelled backwards. On X. And on Instagram at SLRobbins13. This has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman, and I love you.
The madman loves you all, from the big to the small.